unofficial halfway point of the season. So it'll be a great time for me and Jeff to kind of break down our thoughts on the offense, our thoughts on the defense, and our thoughts moving forward with the next couple games going forward against some of the teams that we're going to be playing in the second half of the season. We're going to look at some of the good, some of the bad, some of the ugly, and kind of forecast what the Cleveland Browns need to do to keep their playoffs hopes alive, and definitely foreshadow the debut of one Deshaun Watson in the second half of the season. We'll talk about all of those things and much more on the next episode of the Locked On Browns podcast.
You are Locked On Browns, your daily Cleveland Browns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound LGB on the LOB, the Locked On Browns podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Your host, Jeff Lloyd, at Jeff_LJ_Lloyd, your host from the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, 11 to 1, Monday through Friday on YouTube. Also, the Barbershop, Saturday mornings, 92.3, The Fan, Garrett Bush, at GBush91. Appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every day, whether it's on your favorite podcast platform. Make sure you're subscribed, or YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed. You have your notifications on. Each episode, throw a like onto it as you sit along listening to the meanderings of one Joe and Garrett Bush. Also, on the Roku app, search Locked On Cleveland Sports. You will find Locked On Browns, Locked On Guardians, of course, the red hot Cleveland Cavaliers, Locked On Cavs, and of course, the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Today's episode of Locked On Browns is presented by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy made easy. Pick 2 to 5 players, and if they score more or less than the Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on your entry. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. That is prizepicks.com. Promo code Locked On. Obviously, everybody knows Browns 3-5, week 9 of the 2022 NFL season. Your Cleveland Browns are on the bye week. Everybody make sure you're big fans of the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints this week, as they will face Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens, respectively. So it's a good time to basically sit back, look back here a little bit. I mean, it's crazy to think that we're already at the halfway point much of the Browns season. We got 3 games to go with Jacoby Brissett. We're going to get to that in the third segment before the arrival of Deshaun Watson, December 3rd, I believe, December 3rd, December 4th, first Sunday in December. Deshaun Watson returns for the Browns in Houston. So we want to take a look here at the offense to this point. Jacoby Brissett, almost 2,000 yards through the air. I don't think we can put enough superlatives on what Jacoby has done for this team. I really, really have been impressed. And his style, look, he's definitely plays like a throwback type of player. He's not the overall just general great athlete that you see that are transitioned into the quarterback position nowadays. The release is a little slow. The body mechanics are a little slow, but, guy has literally just got out there and got it done. Balls on the money, long developing plays off of play action. Amari Cooper running the A routes, Amari Cooper running the deep routes. He's had a great relationship with Amari. You kind of get a glimpse at maybe what Amari can be when Deshaun does return. David Njoku, to this point, so many people had so many questions about the contract, the length, the money that the Cleveland Browns signed David Njoku to. This man has just stepped up, taking the bull by the horns, and just been an absolute beast. Of course, missed Monday night against the Bengals, hoping to have his return in Miami. He can go back to where he played college ball, hopefully return against the Dolphins. The running backs, look, I mean, Nick Chubb, again, this is another player where I don't even know what to say about Nick Chubb anymore, Garrett. It's death taxes and Nick Chubb. I mean, there's things you can count on. There's things that excuse me, that are great. And Nick Chubb isn't. Just week in, week out. I know everybody maybe like more carries, this, that, and the other thing. Leading the NFL in rushing through 8 weeks. Just a superlative person, super person, a super player. He's the kind of guy you look at, you build a roster around, you build a franchise around. Kareem Hunt, after 2 weeks, it was kind of like lost missing in action. Browns made a focus to get him back into being a focal part of the offense on Monday night against the Bengals. He did so, 70 total yards. But if there's one player, and I don't want to let this go by without giving the superlatives again, it's just been the growth of Donovan Peoples-Jones, Garrett. I think he's dropped one pass to this point. It's putting it all together. The yak ability, catching the deep contested balls. Donovan Peoples-Jones, for a player here in year 3, just absolutely breaking out for this team. And, they needed guys to step up. They knew what they were going to get at Amari Cooper. They thought they knew what they were going to get at David Njoku when they have, but needed somebody else. And Donovan Peoples-Jones just been a special, special talent thus far this season.
I thought that in the first part of the season, I really thought that Donovan Peoples-Jones was a guy that we had question marks on. But to his credit, he's come in, he's caught the football, and every time he's been given an opportunity, he's been able to come through with catches, whether they be contested, whether in the fourth quarter. All of those different things are something that people rarely get an opportunity to kind of see. Is a 6th-round pick coming into his own, especially in pressure situations. So I thought he's been a very bright spot for the Cleveland Browns in the first half of the season. I've also seen some bright spots from other guys like Ethan Pochich. I mean, this guy, we talk about Nick Harris. He goes down in the first preseason game, and they have him touted as a guy that was going to take over for J.C. Tretter. And we even talked about it on a couple of our episodes, whether or not they should go back after him. What should they do there? And all he's done is just fit right in. He you don't never hear his name. John Costco was on us the other day and talked about, his pass rush or pass grade of a 94%. I mean, this guy is one of the guys that is really doing this thing. And it's just almost a testament to what Coach Callahan has been able to do. Another guy I'm really impressed with is Hudson. James Hudson is a guy who looks like he's going to be penciled in as one of the features at right tackle or left tackle or wherever he's going to be. He's going to be a guy that you can count on. He's another late round pick that I've been really impressed with in limited snaps. And then I have to say, obviously Nick Chubb does this thing, and that it'd be easy to say. To me, he's easily the MVP of the team, easily one of he's a guy that should be in MVP category status if the Browns could get a couple more wins. But a guy like David Njoku, who has got the big contract, a lot of people questioned that. I think, Jeff, you see why people like David Njoku and what's going on with that. So it's just a different, in general. It's been a really good showing for some people. There have been some bright spots in the first half of the season, and I think a lot of those bright spots come on the offensive side of the football.
I think most people are truly surprised at how well the offense has played to this point. I think it's really, really blown people away that they've gotten the contributions they have out of Amari Cooper, David Njoku, Donovan Peoples-Jones, the running backs, and most certainly one, Jacoby Brissett. It's truly been a magical ride to this point. And I think, we all, once we're going to get to this discussion here in the second segment about the defense, and then maybe you're going to understand why this team is 3-5, because the way we just spoke about this offense, you think we'd be talking that the record would be reversed, if not even better. Also, look, Joe Bitonio, the number 1 ranked offensive player in the NFL right now by PFF. Myles Garrett, the number 1 ranked defensive player in the NFL right now, according to PFF. You need your stars to star, and the Browns have been getting that. The Browns are getting that. Just need a little bit more consistency on the defensive side of the ball, something similar to hopefully we've seen the last 2 weeks. And this is a team that can maybe go on a pretty decent, strong run here with the final 9 games remaining in the 2022 NFL regular season. Jeff Lloyd, Garrett Bush, your latest Locked On Browns. If you've thought about securing your home with home security, but have been waiting to pull it off, well, you're going to want to listen up. Right now, Locked On Browns listeners can order the number 1 rated Simply Safe home security system for 50% off. This is the biggest offer of the year, and you won't want to miss it. Here is what I like about it. look, it's this time of the year. You get a lot of packages delivered, Christmas shopping, things of that nature. You want to be on track of your stuff. You want to know what's going on, man. God forbid, you want to make sure that nobody's, nosing around your house. Did you know that over the holidays, property crimes like burglars and package theft spike nationally? That's why our friends at Simply Safe Home Security are offering 50% off their award-winning security system so that more families can feel safe and secure this holiday season. Order your Simply Safe system for half off today and enjoy advanced security and greater peace of mind this holiday season. Share a personal experience. Like, I've seen this happen. I've read in the papers. I've talked to policemen in town about people peeking, stealing packages. It's terrible, but it's just kind of the way the world is. So you want to hopefully, secure yourself. It gets taken. You at least want to make sure that, the company you bought it from understands that you did not get your packet. Simply Safe was named the best home security system of 2022 by U.S. News and World Report for a third year in a row. In an emergency, 24/7 professional monitoring agents use Fast Protect technology exclusively from Simply Safe to capture critical evidence and verify the threat is real, so you can get proper police response. 24/7 professional monitoring service costs less than $1 a day, less than half the price of ADT's traditional professionally installed system. Don't miss your chance to save big on the only security system I recommend. Get 50% off any Simply Safe system at simplysafe.com/URL today. This is the biggest discount of the year, so do not wait. That's simplysafe.com/LockedOnNFL. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Welcome back to the Locked On Browns podcast. G. Bush, Jeff Lloyd in the building. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at GBush91 on Twitter, at Jeff_LJ_Lloyd. Make sure you also follow Locked On Browns podcast on Twitter as well. And don't forget, this week we're off a little bit for the bye week, but guess what? We'll be right on back next week, getting you ready for the Miami Dolphins. We'll definitely be doing a 2-minute warning. One of the biggest shows. You get to see our reaction to it. Shout out to those guys who watched really big numbers on the last show. So we appreciate you guys out there, and thank you for making the Locked On Browns podcast your first listen of every single day. The offense, for the most part, Jeff, has been they've been solid, and I say above solid. They've been probably ranked in the top 10 as far as offensive prowess goes throughout the year. They've been efficient. They've been able to run the football. And they've been able to put points on the board. The defense, on the other hand, has been much maligned over the first half of the year. They've been held back by some injuries. And Anthony Walker's injury was a really big one. Sometimes you don't know what it is until you don't have those individuals there. Sometimes you don't get. Sometimes you don't understand how much a person means until that person is no longer covered up for certain deficiencies. Myles Garrett had the car accident. Denzel Ward has been out multiple weeks with the concussion. So the defensive side of the ball has been pretty much the sore eye of what is happening with the Cleveland Browns. At the beginning of the year was it missed assignments and people getting on the same page. Then in the middle of the year, there was issues where they couldn't stop the run. But I will say in the last 2 games, they are trending in the right direction. Starting with Baltimore, they did play very well against Baltimore, was able to get a turnover late, able to stop Lamar Jackson, hold those guys, hold him in check. And then I think the most complete game that they played definitely is, you took a look at the game against last week against the Bengals, Monday Night TV, Halloween. Everybody was looking, a bunch of people out doing their thing. Guess what? They come out, they're able to stop the Bengals and Joe Burrow's hot offense, and they were able to completely stymie the Bengals, right? So, there have been some sore spots for the Browns defense, but I think in general, there's a lot of people that are more satisfied or more at ease now because of the way that they are trending. Do you think that this is something that they can continue after the bye week, Jeff?
I do. See here with this Browns defense is now we're start getting some dudes back into building. You did what you did against the Bengals without Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. You did what you did against the Bengals without Denzel Ward. Great play by Martin Emerson. The rookie has been fantastic at this point. I know there were a lot of people where the Browns made that selection in round 3. I know some people were complaining about the position they chose, the specific player they chose. Ain't nobody chirping about the play of Martin Emerson right now. And this goes back to the summer. The Eagles were in town. They had the joint practices. Had the game on a Sunday afternoon, the exhibition game. And I, had somebody from the Eagles organization, send me a text message like, I don't know how y'all do it, but you straight up stole this kid. And he's just been an absolute pleasant surprise. I agree with you. You go back to the Thursday night game. Browns leave the building that night. They got a 2-1 record. Anthony Walker injured, down. And that led to about a 2 to 3 week period where the Browns could do nothing and absolutely nothing to stop their running game. Falcons beat them to death. Chargers, same thing. Just shove the ball down the throat, shove the ball down the throat, shove the ball down the throats. Had a better effort against the New England Patriots. It certainly wasn't good enough. And, of course, that was a day where the offense kind of failed you. But then you get to the Raven game, and defense started to pick it up, started to get right. Held the Ravens under 4 yards a carry, held Lamar to 9 completions. Mark Andrews put up a big old fat goose egg that night. And then you get to that effort Sunday night. Myles Garrett, it is just tremendous. And it's really, and I love this for you fans. I love this for you Clevelanders, that you are getting to witness two of this franchise's greatest players ever at the same time. Of course, you hope for more success. You hope for more team success. But you are literally watching right now the careers of two of the greatest Cleveland Browns that have ever walked the planet. These guys are that good. Myles Garrett, nothing this man can't do. I think it was 8 pressures Monday night. Some people think they're not getting enough out of Myles Garrett. It blows my mind. Joe Burrow was literally getting the ball snapped to him and looking to the flat every single time because he was afraid that 95 was going to drag him to the ground yet again. Tremendous player you have there. Could the safety play be better? Absolutely. There's no question about it. But I think the problem is you got players that are similar. This team doesn't truly have a legit over-the-top, on-the-roof free safety. They just don't have it. You got guys who are versatile and can do multi-things, and neither one of them, the strongest part of their game is being that on-the-roof safety, and it's certainly hurt them at times. The cornerbacks, Denzel Ward, there's been times where he's looked really good. Beginning of the season started a little slow, but hopefully he's coming back for the Miami game, which will have him out about a month by the time that game comes back. Emerson Newsom, fantastic. Defensive tackle situation, it's a problem. It's getting a little bit better, but that doesn't mean it's good because it does. When you were as bad as you were, getting better still doesn't mean it's good. It's getting better. But Garrett, it has been a disappointment somewhat from the defense to this point. There's no question about it. But as Andrew Berry said, you want to be playing your best football in November, December, and January. And it looks like for the Browns, and as crazy as it is that we all thought this defense was just going to hit the ground running, and it didn't. It looks like we're starting to see signs of life again from this defense, and it's trending in the correct direction.
Yeah. That's the encouraging part. It seems as if, I know people looked at it the same way last year when Joe Woods was like, first few weeks of the game, first 8 games or so. It was a work in progress. They weren't hitting on all cylinders, but after that, after the first game, 8 games into the second half of the season, you started to see the Browns trend in the direction of being one of those teams, that are a dominant group and saw their potential. This year, they started off slow too. Hopefully, in the second part of the season, we can start to see them put that together as they do get some of their guys back, like Denzel Ward. And Joe Woods finds the best way to utilize some of the parts and pieces that he has. So, we'll see what's going to happen in the second part of the year. But the Browns definitely need the defense to play the way it has, especially against the Bengals. You're not going to be successful all the time. But you just want to have that same energy level. And if you have that energy level, you'll give yourself a chance to win some games.
No question about it. And, look, you want it, you want it to be picking up here. And we talked about the importance of getting this win before the bye. So basically, you feel a little bit better about yourself, a little easier to cope through it. You lose before the bye week just makes really a difficult spot. Jeff Lloyd, Garrett Bush, your latest Locked On Browns. Appreciate everybody for being along for the ride. Prize Picks, you guys know the deal. Prize Picks, daily fantasy. You got a game tonight, Philadelphia Eagles. You got Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown. What can you expect from the Houston Texans? So why don't you put together a lineup? What you got to do is you pick 2 to 5 players. And if they go score more or less than the Prize Picks projection, you to 10 times your money on entry. You're not competing against people. It is literally just you versus the projections available. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport you watch: NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, men's, women's, collegiate sports. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's just that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals. Currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. Download the Prize Picks app and go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code LOCKEDON. You deposit 100, they give you 100. You deposit 50, they give you 50. Don't forget to enter the promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100.
Welcome back to the Locked On Browns podcast. G. Bush in the building, Jeff Lloyd in the building. It's the second half of the season, and it's looking like the Browns finally have a little bit of life. They were dead half the season. I talked to a lot of different people out and about on the street when they see me from doing the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and they automatically always say G. Bush, man. Look, hey, I'll tell you what. The Browns, they was about a one game away from me turning them out and tuning them out the rest of the season. And I said, I know y'all was doing it. I know y'all was getting ready to hit that button. But 3-5, they definitely saved their season. It's still a long shot for them to make the playoffs, Jeff. But 3-5 gives you a little sliver of hope, especially because some of the teams that you're coming up at the end of the second part of the season may not be as tough as we once thought, right? We look at the next 3-game schedule. You got Miami, and they are undefeated when Tua plays the entire game. They do have Tyreek Hill. They do have Jalen Waddle. They got a track team down there, right? I'm not by any stretch of the imagination going to say that that's going to be easy game for the Browns. But if they play the brand of football that I saw them play against the Cincinnati Bengals, I think that they wholeheartedly could compete in that game and could win that game. You take a look at the next couple games after that, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I feel Tampa Bay, their season is in flux too. Tom Brady is not playing like Tom Brady. Leonard Fournette is not running the ball very well right now, and it seems that, maybe they might not be completely focused on the task at hand. Obviously Tom Brady is going through a divorce. He has a lot of stuff on his mind. Bruce Arians is no longer there calling those plays. So I'm looking at it as a situation of that team at home. You can possibly do something there. That's not looking like an uphill battle as we looked at it in the beginning of the season. And then of course you got Buffalo coming up after in between those games. Buffalo to me is by the way playing probably top 3 of the league. I think first half awards, I would say the most impressive team I would go with Philadelphia. I think they've been really strong. I think Jalen Hurts is playing out of his mind. I like the running game with Miles Sanders. I love the fact they got A.J. Brown. They got a lot of good pieces out there, and I just like the brand of football they play. But right behind them is Buffalo Bills. I thought Josh Allen is playing like Josh Allen does. He's spreading the ball around, and he looks like he wants to be MVP. So that game is going to be tough, especially on the road. You're going to have to play a flawless game, I think, to be in that game. Defense is going to have to show up. So that may be an uphill battle. But even if you say, worst case scenario, you get 2 out of 3, right? If you get 2 out of 3, that still puts you at 5-6. And if you ask yourself, Jeff, a lot of people would say, what record do you need the Browns to have before Deshaun Watson gets here? They would either tell you 5-6, 6-5. Somewhere along those measures, 5-6, 5 wins gives you a shot in the dark in order to get to the playoffs. Your thoughts on the upcoming schedule and what they need to do in the next couple of games?
I think we're pretty much in lockstep here. You're going down to Miami. Browns are going to have the advantage. They're going to have some guys back. They're going to have some advantage in that they're going to be rested. Miami has a little issues against a team that can run the ball. Obviously, that's something that's going to behoove the Browns there as well. That's probably going to be the one. You need to steal that one because I think we all are in agreement traveling to Buffalo the way the Bills are right now. You're nervous. I mean, there's no other way around it. I mean, that is a devastating team right now. All facets look to be clicking for Buffalo, but that's going to be the one. Tampa Bay. It doesn't look good. It's look like there's signs of improvement. So, Jacoby Brissett here in what will be his final 3 starts before Deshaun Watson returns. You can find a way to go 2-1 here, and you get this team to 5-6. Then you look at those final 6 games with Deshaun Watson. You will go play everybody in the AFC North one more time. And keep in mind, you could have won the Raven game. You handled the Bengals easily. You handled the Steelers pretty easily. Guess what that means? You're going into these same games now where you looked really good, but now you're going to make a huge upgrade at the quarterback position. You're going to have Deshaun Watson for those 3 games. The Saints, the Commanders, and obviously the Houston Texans for Deshaun Watson's first start for the Cleveland Browns. That looks pretty formidable. This Miami Dolphins game, this is a huge, huge game a week from Sunday down to Miami. Because number one, if you can get this one, it kind of gives everybody in the locker room maybe a little bit more momentum to believe, you want to know what? Maybe we can play with the Bills. Maybe we can. Maybe we can play with the Buffalo Bills. So that is certainly going to be interesting. But this is a big, big 3-game stretch here. It'll cap off, what Jacoby has done here to this point, and he's been outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Again, there's not enough. I had no idea Jacoby Brissett could go out there and play this well for this team in a really, really difficult spot, because it's like, hey, here's the job, but there's a trick. Come December, you're back in a baseball hat, you're back in your warm-up jacket. That's it. And he's done a fantastic job to this point. If he can get this Miami game, he can get 2-1 in these final 3. It's a huge, huge stretch. There's no way around it, G.
It's huge. And he's done a good job of keeping this organization in it. That's what he was tasked for. You listened to Andrew Barry the other day. He said, look, they took Jacoby Brissett because they knew what Jacoby Brissett was about. They knew what he was able to do and what he was capable of. And I think he's done a tremendous job of just calming everything down, just saying, look, man, this is what we need to do. He may not be the most flashy. He may not be one to be the most athletic. He's not the guy with the best talent. But what he does do is he gets people to follow him. He's been shown to be a great leader. I'll tell you what, I like Deshaun Watson coming back. And I think if the Browns could get to 5 wins, I think you'll start to see that people will be like, ooh, this Browns team is a little scary, especially when they get back some of the things, the pieces and parts on the defensive side of the football. All in all, you get a much better taste in your mouth when you can come up with a victory against the Bengals before the bye. And I couldn't imagine what it would have been like if they'd have lost before the bye. At that point, season's over.
No question. It's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot. I mean, look, you went a little bit deeper into the competition level here. These guys are just better on both sides of the ball. The Dolphins, the Bills, the Bucs. We'll see what version we get of them. And keep in mind, this is a team that's coming to Cleveland. It's not like it's going to be in Tampa. So, by late November, certainly weather could be an issue here. But crucial couple of games here coming up. Everybody enjoy the bye. We'll be around. We're going to be pushing out that content, but everybody's got to rest up. I know you guys are all jazzed up about your 6-1 Cavaliers, and rightfully so. Enjoy that. By all means, enjoy it. It's been a pretty fun run here for you Cleveland fans. Hopefully Browns can give you something to cheer about here. Close out the regular season, hopefully into the postseason. He's Garrett Bush, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, 11 to 1, Mondays through Friday on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Make sure you're checking it out. G, Bull, Mikey, Jay Crawford. Guys, just do a fantastic job over there. Make sure you're checking it out over there. 92.3 The Fan, the barbershop, Saturday mornings, 8 to noon. G will lock it down for you. G's always got your post-game coverage for your Browns, your Buckeyes, Cavs, and, of course, your Guardians. In due time. Make sure you're following at GBush91, myself, Jeff, at Jeff_Lloyd, show itself, at Locked On Browns, follow back account. Appreciate all of you who make Locked On Browns your first listen every day, whether it's on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube. Subscribe, notifications on. Make sure you're putting those likes on the episodes for us. And, of course, check out the Roku app. Search Locked On Cleveland Sports. You'll find Locked On Browns, Locked On Guardians, Locked On Cavaliers, and, of course, G. Bush and the boys over at the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. All that being said, this has been your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound. LGB on the LOB. Let's go, Browns.